Hello everyone, Tycho here. I wanted to bring you a quick little video today about CVC efficiency, considering we've got a CVC starting soon, and I often get questions about how do I get points, because everybody's always getting all these points and I am stuck getting not very many points. So I just wanted to make a short video of how to do some efficient point gathering in CVC for low spend, free to play, don't want to just blow a bunch of resources crowd, especially if you are somebody who doesn't normally do a lot of CVC, because these are probably commonly known tips and tricks for people who frequently go for 400k CVC points. I'm going to take my headphones off for this. It'll make my life easier. So, to begin, we want to start with looking at CVC. It starts in 15 hours for me here, and I'm going to look at where this rotation has bonus points. So for me, it's Sand Devil, Faction Wars, and Shogun. Now, is there any events, tournaments, anything else I'm working on that's going to be overlapping with this? So let's go look. We have Ice Golem, Gear Ascension, Classic Arena. Classic Arena is going to end basically before, right about when CVC starts, and it's not easy to get a huge amount of points quickly, so I'm not really going to worry about that. But this Gear Ascension tournament has 18 hours left. CVC starts in 16 hours. That means there's a 2-hour overlap. So for me, I'm going to want to be farming those Phantom Shogun and Sand Devils for the first 2 hours of CVC, but I'm probably not going to be awake for the first 2 hours of CVC because for me, it's like 4 in the morning. So what we can do is we go to RSL Helper, which will give us a way to schedule starting the farming after CVC starts. So we would start by going to the events tab here. We'd go to get oils because that's the one that's for the Gear Ascension event. And then we want to select checkbox and the reward level we want to get to. So for me, unfortunately, you can see my current points. I'm already over at 10,000 points because I didn't realize that it was going to be overlapping. So I farmed it ahead of time because I thought I needed to start stockpiling energy for CVC. So I wanted to get this one out of the way. What I could have done is waited and done this and scheduled myself to have it start when CVC starts. So the way you do that, you would use a start time and you would select your start time. For me, it would be 4 in the morning. And that way I would then go to what I want to farm, whether it's Sand Devil or Shogun. Shogun's slightly more efficient for the Gear Ascension, so Shogun, I leave it paired here, and I would hit start, making sure that I have auto refill selected, none of the other stuff selected here. And then you'll see what happens is this says starts in 15 hours and 13 minutes. Now, if I go back, it starts in 15 hours and 3 minutes. So that way, once CVC starts, it will start farming Sand Devil for me, as long as I leave it overnight sitting at the beginning of the stage I want it to sit at. So if I want it to be farming at stage 25, when I go to bed, I would leave it sitting on this page right here. I want it super raids on. This will take over and it will pick up my CVC and it will take me all the way to whatever point total I have selected here, which would be 10,000. Obviously, I can't do this right now because I've already done it for this one. Now, the next way that I like to get lots of cheap and free CVC points is with Tag Arena. So Tag Arena, 2 or 3 things you want to do. First, the day before CVC, so for me today, I want to go through and I want to set my defense just to 1-man defenses. I like to throw in some rares. It makes people want to hit me. So that way, I am dropping my points. Because when you're low on points, you match up with other people who are low on points who are doing the same thing. As you can see here, I have lots of 1-man defenses to farm. And if I refresh, I probably have more. Yeah, so all these 1-man defenses to farm. That way, tomorrow when CVC starts, everyone will hit me because I have a one-man defense. It'll drive my points down. I'll get pages and pages and pages of one-man defenses to farm, which with the new quick battle means it's extremely quick to get lots of points in CVC this way. And with quick battle, it's so quick. It's just tick, tick, tick. And then that gives me 156 gold bars times 5 for CVC points is 5 points per gold bar. That's 780 CVC points per fight. That means a refill is 7,800 CVC points. So if you can stack up 5, 6, 7, 8 3v3 refills, that's a big chunk of points for extremely low cost. That's going to cost you less than 100 gems with buying 2 refills the day before, 2 refills the first day, and 2 refills the second day, plus the one you get at reset and the one you get for advanced quests. Moving on to Classic Arena. Classic Arena, the refills all cost 40 gems, so it's not worth pre-buying any refills and not really worth actually buying refills anyway, because each medal is only worth 20 CVC points. So each Classic Arena win is only worth 80 CVC points, which is very low. It means you're getting 800 points per refill. Not super efficient, not worth buying with gems. But what is worth having is the Magisteel. The reason I leave a one-man defense in all times in Classic Arena is to force me to stay in Gold 5 to farm Magisteel, because the next thing we want to talk about is forging. A fast way to get a lot of free points in CVC, also gives you lots of silver for selling all the bad gear you're going to end up with. For me, there's a couple things I want to do. First, never ever craft Swift Parry or Deflection. They cost 50 Magisteel per craft, whereas every other type of craft costs 5 Magisteel per craft. So if you craft these, you will immediately run out of Magisteel. For me, Resilience is usually what I'm going to craft if I just want silver. I only keep absolutely perfect pieces that I can try and quad roll or penta roll speed on. Otherwise, it's just going straight to sell for silver. Perception has been somewhat power crept because 2-piece Feral gives the same stats 2-piece Perception gives, with potentially better stats if you add more pieces, so it's much more versatile. However, 2-piece Perception is still great for lots of things, and it's an easy way to get lots of accuracy and speed if that's just what you're looking for on supports, on faction wars, Curse City, anywhere. So I still use a fair amount of perception pieces, but as you win more sieges and get lots of 6-star mythical feral gear, you'll find that you will start moving towards that instead of perception gear. But perception gear is great because it's plentiful, easy to farm, easy to craft lots of. You only need to keep the good pieces because you can always just craft more. So quick crafting made farming through lots of forge materials quickly way easier, especially if you set up a little bit of gear filters. So for me, for filters, this is what I use for perception and resilience for crafting mass amounts, get quick points, quick silver. Top row, only want 6-star, and I only want epic and up. I might start even just dropping the epic off, but it's pretty easy to get a cheap triple roll speeds in perception with this. So I keep it on for now. I only keep pieces that have speed, and it just keeps the primary stat. It's the only one that's accessible for primary stats. That's all the top row pieces. Only keeping speed, only keeping those pieces. Because it's never worth reforging these sets. They're just too plentiful to be worth spending ore on. Bottom row, I'm keeping percent pieces, and I'm only keeping the ones that have substat speed. Again, not worth reforging. Chests, same deal. With res and accuracy and percentage. Boots, I'm only keeping speed boots, and I'm only keeping ones that either have accuracy, crit rate, or crit damage, because those are the ones that you're going to actually use in a perception set. Otherwise, you just end up with lots of bad 6-star speed boots that have no good substats that you'll hold on to way too long and never actually get around to using. So I'll go through here, quick craft, continue even if you don't have space, because you can then craft hundreds of pieces at once. and it'll sell 90% of them and only keep the good ones. Now, for me, when I'm crafting resilience, I don't use any charms because I'm just using it for silver. The more charms you use of the rank rarity mythical, the better quality pieces you'll get. Therefore, the more CVC points you'll get and the more silver you'll get for selling them. However, these are limited resource, so I don't use them on throwaway sets. I will sometimes use some on perception if I want extra chances at better speed gear, but generally I save these for lethal and slayer and anything else that is a limited, much more limited set. Other points to consider are books. So books have value in terms of champion training tournaments. You don't get points from booking champions and champion training events. You do in tournaments. However, with the additions of the brew upgrade, instant upgrade, quality of life, instant rank up, additions to the tavern, completing all of the champion training events and tournaments has become significantly easier just with using resources that you have as far as champions go. So I prefer to now use books in CVC, whereas I used to prefer to save books for those tournaments because I would always find champ training such grind. I also try and save ascending legendaries that I don't need to use right away for CVC because it's a lot of free points. Because when you look at the clan points, these are one-time things that you can do that give a fair amount of points for free. So ascending a legendary 1 through 6, you get yourself 4,000 points. Mythicals like 10,000 points almost. It's like 9,000 points. So usually you're probably going to ascend and level a mythical immediately after you get it. I get that. Legendaries, often much more holdable for a bunch of free points there. Even epics, if you are going to be leveling champions, epics is worth probably about 1,000 points or so. But books are worth a lot of points. Epics 1,000, legendaries 3,000, mythicals 4,000. If you haven't finished your Great Hall, that's something easy to save for CVC. It's a one-time. Once it's maxed out, you don't get any points for it anymore. Now, you want to look at what you can double dip on. There's a new fusion starting, as there basically always is a fusion. We got Ice Golem. I'm going to wait to farm it during CVC. And there is a Gear Hunters to go along with it. And then starting tomorrow, there will be Gear Enhancement. So the Gear Enhancement will be active when I get to roll up gear that I'm forging. I'll wait and do the Gear Hunters along with the Ice Golem because that will be efficient usage of energy. If we look at Ice Golem points, stage 10 is worth 400. All stage 10 hard or stage 25 for Sand Devil and Shogun are 400 points per run. Dragon is only 200, so you don't farm that unless it's like triple speed and you care about that. Now, Event Dungeon, if you like Chronophage, you can farm stage 30 here. Or if you're not going for the fusion, you could farm whatever you need. Sand Devil, Shogun, Spider if you just want the silver. For me, I'm going to farm Ice Golem, try and triple dip with the Gear Hunters and the Ice Golem tournament and the CVC. You can optionally farm it with something like an Artak or a Sulfurion if you also want to be doing champ training at the same time. There isn't a champ training tournament on during CVC. Unfortunately, if we look at the calendar, you can see that CVC is here Tuesday, Wednesday, and the champ training starts on the Thursday here. So for me, I'd rather just save champ training resources, primarily focus on doing other things for the CVC, save the champ training for the champ training tournament. Now, since it's a tournament, you do want to consider that when using books during CVC because the option would be to use the books with the tournament immediately after CVC ends. So that is something to consider with usage of books. Now, as far as other points goes, you will get points simply for picking up your clan boss chests. Ultra Nightmare chests are 1,000 each. Then you get 2,000 points for those. Those are worth 400 each, so you get 800 points there. And I don't remember, you get some smaller amounts of points for brutal and hard. But just for picking up 2 or 3 clan boss chests a day, you're going to be getting about 7,000 points from clan boss over the course of CVC. So it doesn't cost you anything. You're doing them anyway, I should hope. You might as well get the points for them. Just log in, do your clan boss. It's the most basic instruction of Raid Shadow Legends. Is log in and do your clan boss. Live Arena does give points. There is a new season starting with CVC tomorrow. Live Arena does give decent points for CVC. If you look, you can see under objectives, under Arena, again, crests from Live Arena are 5 points each. And if you look at your Live Arena, here's you're getting at gold 4, 70 crests. So that is 350 crests per win after reset for the night before CVC. I normally do all of my dailies right after reset, but don't use your fortress keys, don't use your crypt keys, don't use your tag arena tokens. Save them for after CVC starts. Fortress keys are worth a good amount of points. You don't get anything for other clan boss keys. You don't get anything for Doom Tower. You don't get anything for Cursed City or Grim Forest. However, you might get some resources from Cursed City or Grim Forest or Doom Tower that you want to use during CVC. So look at whether you're getting energy from Doom Tower, energy from Grim Forest, refills from Cursed City. A useful resource is the Hell Hades clan versus clan calculator. It will let you put in what you want to do, and it will give you an estimated point total. After I've finished the Ice Golem tournament, I'll switch over to farming either Spider or Event Dungeon for the Gear Hunters, because Ice Golem isn't going to give me too much of what I'm looking for because it's at 2x cursed right now, and the only thing I really care about from Ice Golem is Reflex. So I will just switch over to either farming Spider, 10 hard for silver, or Event Dungeon 30, because it gives a good mix both of chronophage and accessories and artifacts. So you still get some more silver versus just farming a gear dungeon, because accessories sell for more silver than artifacts do. So I will be trying to complete most of or all of this Gear Hunters event during CVC. Might even go for these crystals, because I've been trying to pick up any extra legendary fragments I can get, and I'm getting there. So for me, that's my plan. That's how I like to do CVC, how I like to get my points, trying not to waste any resources that I need for completing fusions, doing other events. So I don't like to use any of my shards. I don't like to use any soul stones. I do use books now, but I try and double dip, triple dip whenever possible with any other events that are on. And that's all I've got. That's everything I can think of to help you. If there's glaring gaps that I have missed, please let me know, and I will try and put out a note of suggestions. But I've tried to cover all of the priority easy points. And yeah, good luck on your CVC.